What's going on, guys? I've got a new camera today, so it's a good day. And what's going to make this day even better is we're working on the Kuwahara again today. Uh, we're going to be doing the wheels. I'm going to do one wheel on camera and I'll do the other one because the video needs to be less than 15 minutes long because the editing software I use, it gets a little hokey. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a wheel and we're going to pick this one here. It's pretty dirty. It's not as dirty as the other one, but the spokes are in horrible shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the spokes out of this wheel and we're going to just rebuild it with some other spokes. I have the original spokes around here somewhere, but I'm having trouble locating them, so I may just use some regular steel spokes because that's what's on this wheel. So let's get started. Well, sorry for the mess around the shop, but I just got back here from Texas. My grandmother passed away last week, so me and my brother, and my son piled into the station wagon and we drove all the way to Texas, which was about 1,200 miles, and then we went to the funeral and we drove 1,200 miles back. So I'm tired, but let's get started on this wheel. The first thing we need to do is we need to remove the tire. We also need to see, and let's see if I can show you here. Before cutting these spokes, we need to actually see what pattern this is. And this is what they call a 1, 2, 3, 4 cross. So I really want to keep this as a 4 cross. So I'm going to take the tire off. I'm going to remove one spoke. This is a front wheel. It uses one size. Sometimes on certain rear wheels with BMX, they use more than one size. We're lucky with this one. It's the same size. So we're going to yank this rotten tire off. Remove the rim strip. That's very rotten. We're going to check the bearings, make sure they're tight. They are. We will be rebuilding the hub. But first thing, let's get this cleaned up. I have a candidate right here. One of these spokes, the spoke nipple broke on it, so we know it's a 4 cross, and I'm being careful not to actually bend the spoke. I'm flexing the spoke and I'm being very careful not to touch the rim, because if you touch the rim, it's going to leave a scratch in the black anodized coating that you will never be able to get rid of. So let's see what size spoke this is. I'm going to take a wild guess here and I'm going to say that it's a 184. No, I'm going to say it's a 182. I'm going to use my trusty part tool ruler here, and wow, I was way off. This is a 190, 193 and a half. Let's look at the spoke nipples and see how far the spoke is coming through. It's not coming through, which is the reason why that nipple broke, because that spoke needs to come all the way up to the edge of the nipple for better support. So it was a 193 and a half. So let's go with at least a 194. let me see what I've got. Actually, I've got a bunch of spokes right here. I doubt I'm not this lucky to have it as a 194. Wow. I just grabbed some BMX spokes. These are not the original spokes. I was trying to find the original spokes, but these look exactly like it. It's a chrome plated spoke. I've got to get this done. If I find the original spokes, I'll relace it later. But for y'all, we're going to lace this wheel up. We're going to clean it up really good. So I'm going to get 36 spokes ready, and we're going to take this apart, clean it up, and then rebuild it. Before I start cutting these spokes out of this wheel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen these spokes up just a little bit, because if I start cutting them out right now with all the tension that's on it, it could damage the rim. We don't want that. Now, before you start cutting, you need to pay close attention to how this wheel is built. You want to look at the spokes, and the spokes here, let me put it back onto the screwing stand here. The spokes here, the ones that come from the outside, actually go over one spoke, goes over the second spoke, over the third one. Now it does go under this one here, okay? Over, 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 under, okay? The inside one goes under, 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 over. You need to repeat that pattern when you put it back together. So just be sure to pay close attention to how it's done. Now, I'm going to do one wheel, and if I get lost, if I get confused, which I won't, I've been doing this for 27 years, but for you, do one wheel, leave the other one alone. So whenever you start putting the new one together, you can look at the old one if you get lost to see how that one's laced together. Makes sense, right? All right. So the spokes are loose. I'm going to go ahead and cut all these spokes out. I'll be right back. Alright, so here's the before of the rim. And it's a Suntour hub. You can see how nasty that is. Alright guys, now I've got the hub cleaned up, and it turned out really well. And I've got the rim all nice and cleaned up. We're going to get the wheel built. Now, I'm going to start on the non-drive side. That's the side that the gear is not going to be on. Now, I am doing the front hub, but I want it where I can see the writing whenever I'm sitting on the bike. So what you want to do is you start right where the lettering is right there, and you go to the nearest hole and you count up 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And this one actually started where the spoke was going on the inside, and I want to leave it like that because if I put the spoke in a different direction, it could damage the flange. So we're going to find where the valve is. I'm going to make sure the Yukai is read from the other side, not the drive side. So I want to be able to read it from the non-drive side on this because that's the way it was originally, and I'm wanting to leave it original. So we're going to go one spoke hole in front. I'm going to use that's 12 millimeter. I don't want 12 millimeter. I'm going to use the 14 millimeter nipple on this. I start to thread it on. I am now going to go back to the hub. I'm going to skip one spoke hole. And I'm going to go into the skip one hole, go into the next. And then we're going to count 3 holes. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go into the 4th hole, being very careful not to scratch the rim. This already has plenty of scratches. I don't want any more. And we're going to continue. Skip 1 hole, skip 3, go into the 4th, and repeat. Now you want to make sure that where the valve hole is, that you've got no obstruction. So wherever the valve goes in there, you can easily air it up. through the magic of editing, it's the next day. The wheel turned out great, but I was still so tired from that 20-hour drive from Texas. So I'm a lot more perky today. Feel so much better. But we got the wheel done. We're going to be doing some more stuff with the Kuwahara. Very excited to get that done. Everything is looking great, but just look forward to some of the other videos. We're going to do the cranks and the other stuff. So it's coming together. So just be sure to please subscribe, and we're going to have the link to the video right here showing you how to true the wheel, and please subscribe to me at this link right here. Thank you very much, and I hope y'all have a great day. Thanks.